Welcome, my AI aficionados. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going to show you a whiteboard tool that enables you to doodle on it and show it like a presentation, like those whiteboard animations that are really cool with the hands dragging things in and drawing and painting stuff. This is called InstaDoodle. I came across this just a few weeks ago. I was looking for something really urgently to make my videos more interesting for my viewers. So I decided to give it a try. The initial version, I found it relatively cheap, but then I wanted to upscale, and the add-ons, I put on some add-ons, but I want to show you how it works, and we'll talk about the add-ons and other things. So right off the bat, if you wanted to create a doodle, you just click on new, and you've got either the manual mode or the AI wizard. Now the manual mode is quite laborious. I'll show you how it works. You got to choose something that you feel is a good template, and then next, and it just gets you straight into the content. And while this isn't bad, how to bake a cake, and you got to follow the laborious process of how to bake a cake. Now, for those of you who just want the basic, I would say use something like ChatGPT here and query how to bake a cake in slides, 7 steps, for example. And ChatGPT will come up with ideas for you, but you'd have to copy these. And for some people who are quick in doing this, it's not bad. You could type this in, but it gets clumsy, as you can see. It gets clumsy. A better way to do this, because you have to follow all the process, and you'd have to get all the graphics aligned, everything right. This could easily take an hour to do. But one of the game-changing features of InstaDoodle is right here. Let's go to the dashboard again, and let's go to a new project. I want to show you how I would do this with AI. So you saw the laborious way. I would have to also do a voiceover. I would have to upload a voiceover, such and such. But check this out. If I chose the AI wizard, right, and I said next, there are 2 ways you could do this. Really quick, you could say, give a quick description of the idea. And I could say, how to bake a cake. And I could generate the script just like that. It's going to go on the back end and do all of the curation of the steps. It's also going to put all the slides in logical order, and it's going to give you the option of adjusting it as you see fit. If you wanted to use your voice, you could, or if you wanted to choose a voice from what they have available, you could as well. So here's the script. Quite a robust assortment of stuff. I'm going to hit next, and it's going to generate the slides just like that. No need of going to GPT to do all this stuff and going back and forth. No need of doing any of that. Just stay in the tool, and within minutes, it's going to have put all of these ideas together. It's pretty wild. Now, the AI aspect, when you join, you get 150 credits, but you have to buy more credits to be able to keep using firepower, whatever AI would do for you. And it costs some credit. So anyway, these are the slides. It's saying review and edit. Click on the text to edit. So if you wanted to edit this, you could. But from my experience, it does quite a good job anyway, so I'm not going to worry about editing. I'm just going to hit next, and then you could choose one of the templates. I like going for simple because I can make simple more complex. If I go for scribble, or if I went for funky, it might end up not being as nice as you want. And then you have to delete all of those funky pieces, which is funky in and of itself. So you gotta know the tool to get the best bang. But there are many instances where I would use funky because I want that razzle dazzle that it gives me. All right, so these are all great choices, but let's go to create project. It's gonna create the project for you. And the cool thing about when you create this project, you have the ability to use, like I said, either your voice, or you could use the built-in voices that this has. Okay, so let's say I chose this and it's done everything for me. Simple as that, right? As simple as that. See that? It's done it all. Now you just need to have enough credits to be able to use other bells and whistles and other functionalities. For example, if I wanted to use my voice on this slide, okay, it's still generating the slides, so I'll let it do what it's doing. But if I wanted to replace anything here with my personal creations, either audio, background music, imagery, there's actually the ability here in custom for you to choose images that you have generated yourself. So I generated this image. If for one reason I wanted to include it, I could. Or if I don't like what is here, I could generate an image with AI. So I could just take this, gather all necessary cake ingredients. I could go to generate with AI, and I could just plop this in here and ask it to generate an image. And you've got these options. It's either background, or it's an element, or it's a color caricature, or something else. So it really depends. I'm going to choose background. I'm going to say color doodle, and I'll just give it some help. I'll say eggs, milk, flour, and sugar. And I want to ask for 3 variations. I'm in a bit of a rush. I just want one to show you as an example. So it could generate 3 if I let it, but I just want 1. And these are all AI generated images that I've created in this tool, as you can see here. So that's a very nice one. I'm going to hit add. Okay. And if I did want the 3 variations, I could still get them. Okay, so for now, I've imported it in. I'm just going to hit that button, and then I can delete those, and there's my new item. As far as the audio, what it sounds like, I'll give you a quick example so you can preview it. So you can see
1.5 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of butter, 4 large eggs, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
So there you have it. It did everything for you, right? Bear in mind that you have hardly done anything, right? Other than say, oh, I want a color image, and that was generated in AI. Over here under props, if you search for cake, you got other examples of cake that you could use. So you could always replace this if you wanted to. When I'm in crunch time, I try not to do too much. I just try to knock it out. And then if you wanted to include characters, you could include these readily available characters. These are in black and white. They're not bad, depending on what you're trying to do. I like a lot of visualization color to hold my audience. My audience gets bored very quickly. The subject matter is hard. So what I do, I put on the filter so I could show the images in color. And I've got different options. I could just use, let's say, I want, say, girl, Emma. Emma is black and white, so she doesn't come up. So is Jessica. Let's find one that's color. All right, so this lady over here, that's in color. That's Grace, and I can always add an image to whatever I'm working on. You got to spend some time. Once you start adding more images, you have to ensure that they're all aligned and done in good taste and such and such. All right, and here's a final one. And all you need to do at this point to get your export is just hit export, just like that. So I've got the full gamut. I've got AI credits. I've got the ability to include my voice. I've got the ability to generate AI voices. Those all cost AI credits. And there's also an AI feature. But if you look for InstaDoodle, you probably will find the deal. They got a really crazy deal going on. I believe at the time under $50. I don't know at the time you're watching this what it will be, but you can just search for that. And then when you get the basic, which is quite affordable, you can then decide whether you want to upscale, as I did. I upscaled, added over $150 additions, but it was worth it. So I got the Pro. The Pro gives you, like, some of these images, as you can see, they're only available in Pro, like that. So anyway, let's hit export, and you could choose to export 720p, 1080, even all the way up to 4K. I'm just going to do 720 for the sake of this illustration. I'm going to say OK. It's telling you the percentage rendering, and when it's rendered, you don't even need to download it. You can just click play, and you can watch it all in the tool, which is extremely cool. So while it's doing that, I will see if I can bring up another InstaDoodle instance to give you some more insights into this really, really awesome tool. You know, at first I wasn't looking at this as an AI tool, but having used it for a little bit, yeah. Something else you could do is you could bring in your own script. So I should probably show you how to do that. Let me show you how you can bring in your own script. So even if you don't have a ChatGPT account, you got some other kind of account, you could ask GPT to generate a script for InstaDoodle on how to make jam. Okay, comes up with a script, and all I need to do is just copy all of this stuff. Okay, go into InstaDoodle, start a new project. This time I'm going to use again the AI wizard, but I'm going to do script to video. So I'm going to do making jam, and I'm gonna allow it to make this into a sensible. See, it was cut off, it's too long, but nonetheless I'm just going to go next so that you can see how this unfolds. So while this is cooking in the oven, let's go to what we just did. So this is what was rendering. Let's hit play. Let's watch it. Okay, my computer's doing a lot of things right now, so it's quite slow. Very slow. All right, I just need to hit play. Let's go full screen and let's play.
Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the art of baking a delicious cake. Whether you're a seasoned baker or a beginner, this guide is for you. Let's get started. First, gather your ingredients. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of butter, 4 large eggs, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Don't forget a cup of milk. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This ensures a consistent temperature while baking. Next, in a large mixing bowl, cream the butter and sugar together until light and fluffy. This usually takes about 5 minutes with an electric mixer. Now, add the eggs one at a time, beating well after each addition. This helps to incorporate air, making your cake lighter. Stir in the vanilla extract. In another bowl, combine your dry ingredients, flour, baking powder, and salt. Gradually add these to the wet mixture, alternating with the milk. Be careful not to overmix. You want everything just combined. This avoids a dense cake. Grease and flour your baking pan. This prevents the cake from sticking and ensures easy release. Pour the batter into the pan and level it with a spatula. Now, the oven's ready. Place your cake on the middle rack and set the timer for 30 to 35 minutes. Remember, oven times can vary, so keep an eye on it. Insert a toothpick in the center. If it comes out clean, your cake is done. Once baked, remove the cake from the oven and let it cool in the pan for 10 minutes. This helps it set. Then turn it onto a wire rack to cool completely. Patience is key. Time to get creative. Frost with your favorite icing, whether it's classic buttercream, rich chocolate, or a zesty lemon glaze. Spread generously and evenly across the top and sides. Slice, serve, and enjoy your homemade cake with family and friends. Baking a cake from scratch might seem daunting, but with these steps, you're sure to impress. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tasty recipes. Thanks for watching, and happy baking.
All right, well, there you saw it, my friends. Simple as ABC to create a whiteboard animation video. Very impressive from the people at InstaDoodle. I thoroughly enjoy working on this. Now, on the right-hand side over here, I'll just move myself out of the way so you can see everything I'm talking about. Let's get me out of the way there. So if you take a look at this, you can see there's a number of parameters on the right-hand side, things you could do. You could choose the transition type between slides, whether you want it to wipe or push left or push right or iris, whatever you want. You could also sync the slide with the voice when you bring in your own voice. And to do that, you would just upload voiceover for that particular slide, or you could generate voiceover. That's an add-on. Okay, the volume and so on, you also have control over that. And then you also have control over the animation itself. So if I click on any of these items on the screen, like the drawing, you could choose whether you want to draw it, or whether you want to wipe it, or whether you want to slide on, or whether you want to fade or pop in. All of those options are available. It is a truly amazing software application that they have here for people who like this kind of stuff. Honestly, I guarantee you will be geeking out over this stuff once you give it a try. In addition to all of this, you have options, like I said, for characters. So you can get all sorts of characters here. You also have props, and you've got speech bubbles, and then you could go custom, which means importing your own imagery. So all the stuff that I do with AI, it stays in the library and never goes away, which is, a huge advantage. So going back to where we were before, as you can see, it's done with a script. It's made sense out of the gobbledygook I threw in there. All I do is hit next. Let's try this funky one. Let's create the project. And what it's going to do for you is, again, give you options, additional options of features that you can add, or it'll just cook it as you requested. You also have the ability to choose when you do add voices. There's, I think, 6 potential options. So if you're going to add a voice to what you wanted to do, there are options, and I must have blown past that in the very beginning, but there are options. And here again, you can see this template for making homemade jam. You don't even need to make any changes whatsoever, because the audio is good, it's clean, it's AI generated voice. The images are great, and the template, it's very simple. It's a simple template, if you will, but it works. And all you need to do is wait out all of this. And now let me go back and see if I can show you the voice capabilities, because I know some people are keen on that. So let's do AI. Let's say it even gives you ideas. Let's say tips on how to learn playing piano by ear. So I'm giving it this idea. Let's generate the script. See how long this takes. And this is a fun topic of mine, being a musician. I'm curious to know what instructions it will give. Wow, that was quick. That was very quick. All right, let's go next. Generating the slide. Let's take a look at this. All right, this is done. This is, nothing else is needed at this point. All you need to do is just hit export and it will export. Okay, once it's done, I think we got one more slide still cooking right there. And once that's done, you're off to the races. What I typically do, I look for characters such as the one I showed you to kind of augment some of this. I add the characters, I add some of these color AI generated things. As you can see here, this is AI generated, and once you generate them, they don't go away. It's really, really good. All right, I think it's done. We can hit export. You see how easy it is to crank out work. I've done 2 so far, and all of this while demoing to you. So we're going to render this, and then let's go back here to where we were. All right, so here we are, slide 1 to 10. Okay, and normally it gives an option. I don't see the option here. It normally gives an option for choosing. There we go. So it was hidden below. So you've got the option of the voices. So let's listen to the voices real quick. There's Delilah.
Hi, I'm Delilah.
It's Ruby. Let's listen to that one.
Hello, I'm Ruby.
Sophie.
Oh, hello there. I'm Sophie.
Bella.
Hello, I'm Bella.
Hey there, I'm Douglas.
Douglas.
Hey, I'm Zachary.
And Zachary. So you got 6 voices, and they're all very good voices. And I like the variety that they all offer. I'm going to go ahead and choose a male voice for this one. And we're just going to use the basic. Let's hit create project. Let's go over here. So this one is rendering. You can see that I open multiple windows so that I can maximize my time. So the advantage of this is I could work on 2 or 3. So while one is rendering, I'm kind of overlapping my time like a good project manager and starting on another. And honestly, the value, tremendous value, because when I did this with another software, it was extremely manual, very menial. The output was definitely not as big and as robust as this, but with AI just takes your idea, beefs up your idea, and it just magnifies it 10 times. All right, let's play this one. Let's see what this one is doing. Okay, so this is still kind of cooking. It's got a little bit of a ways to go. All right, but let's listen to this one. Let's watch this one. Here we go. Let's maximize it, and I'll take myself out of the screen so you can listen properly. All right, here we go.
Scene. Bright kitchen with ingredients laid out on a countertop. The camera zooms in on a bowl of fresh fruit, e.g. strawberries or raspberries. Voiceover, excited, upbeat. Hey, food lovers. Today we're making some homemade jam. It's super easy, super tasty, and you can make it with just a few simple ingredients. Let's get started. Scene. Close-up of someone chopping fruit. Strawberries, peaches, or whatever fruit is being used. A knife skillfully slices through the fruit, followed by some smiling, carefree chopping. Voiceover. First, grab your favorite fruit. You can use anything, berries, peaches, or even a mix of fruit. Start by washing and cutting them into small pieces. Scene: a person adding sugar into the bowl of fruit, a playful sprinkle of sugar as the camera zooms in. Voiceover. Next up, add some sugar to the mix. For every 4 cups of fruit, you'll need about 2 cups of sugar. Feel free to adjust based on your sweetness preference. Scene: a pot is placed on the stove and the fruit mixture is poured in. The person begins stirring. A warm, satisfying sizzle sound can be heard as it cooks. Voiceover. Now, toss the fruit and sugar into a pot. Heat it up over medium heat, stirring occasionally. You want the fruit to break down and the sugar to melt. Scene: the person adds a packet of pectin into the mixture and stirs. Voiceover. If you're using pectin, it helps the jam set. Go ahead and add it now. Follow the instructions on your pectin package for the right amount. We want that perfect, spreadable texture. Scene: the jam mixture bubbling away in the pot. The camera zooms in on the bubbling liquid. Voiceover. Bring your fruit and sugar mix to a boil, then reduce the heat. Let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes, stirring until it thickens to your liking. Scene: a spoon dipped into the jam mixture, and a spoonful of the jam is placed on a cold plate to test the consistency. To check if your jam's ready, put a little on a cold plate. Run your finger through it. If it wrinkles, it's perfect. If not, give it a few more minutes. Scene: the jam is poured into sterilized jars. The camera captures the beautiful glossy texture of the jam. Voiceover. Once it's thickened up, it's time to jar it. Pour your jam into sterilized jars while it's still hot. Seal them up tight and let them cool. Scene: a beautiful close-up shot of a jar of jam, followed by a spoon spreading the jam onto toast or scones. And that's it. You've got your homemade jam. It's perfect for toast, pancakes, or even just eating straight from the jar. Scene: the person happily enjoying a toast with jam, smiling at the camera. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today.
Good deal. There you have it. And that ran for about 3 minutes. Most times they run for about 3, but you can also make them longer. So quite impressive, my friends, don't you think? I had a lot of fun just watching. Now, the script was a bit wonky because I didn't sanitize it. I should have sanitized the script. I didn't, but no harm, no foul, right? You can always go back in and make those changes or do it all over again. It's got the assets. You can always use the assets it's generated in your next go around, okay? So let's go to this final one that we're going to do today. I'll show you how I go all out with this. So if I really wanted to go all out with this and make it look as compelling and vivid, I wouldn't just use black and white. I would use a lot of the generate with AI. So I'd come over here. I would go to element. I would use I could use color cartoon. I could use color caricature. The caricatures are caricatures. They look obviously like exaggerated people with features. But I could use color cartoon as well. So I'd say man at piano learning how to play. Teacher pointing to keys. All right. So let's see if it understands the context of keys. Hopefully it's not going to hopefully it's not going to show me like a keychain. Okay, very good. All right, so it's showing one person, but nonetheless, I can use this. So I'm going to hit add, and it shows enhancing image. Please wait. I do the same for, you can do the same for all 4. And you just add each one that you want to the mix. And you could say, for the next generation, you'd say, young lady at piano. At keyboard this time. Keyboard, high tech, playing happily. And just hit enter. Again, you're going to get another string of images. So that's one. It understood the context. Thank goodness it didn't show me like a computer keyboard. Oh dear, I spoke too soon. Did I speak too soon? I hope that's not a computer keyboard. Please tell me it's not. Okay, good. It's just a music stand, so it understood the context. AI still, some AIs are still learning. So, all right. And then we can also add in one more prompt and say a band of musicians playing with a, just say keyboardist at a high-tech, colorful keyboard by, let's see if it understands the context. It probably won't. It's a caricature, so it's a cartoon, so I might be asking for too much. But I want you to look at the difference between the cartoons. The humans are not exaggerated. Yeah, they're cartoonish, but they're not exaggerated. Oh, very good. It did get the context. Awesome. All right, let's add these. And we'll do one more prompt, and I'll just show you the same prompt, but I want to show you the fun when you use the color caricature. So let's do that. And it'll give you similar imagery, but the features sometimes could be exaggerated, like a bigger head, and sketchier. Okay, so it's almost, but not as exaggerated as I would have thought. This is still more kind of comic-like, which is okay. That's okay. Let's go ahead and put it all in. So you can see this piece could take some time to do, but when all is said and done, and you're now going into the main body, you'll see that it's worth every second. So let's close it. Now we got all our images. We can take out these boring black and white ones, and we can put in some other images, and you can move stuff around like that. All right. This isn't bad. Start by listening to favorite songs. So I could put that there, and I could also put one of these just to make it fun. You can also right click and you can flip horizontal. And then over here, identify, oh, so that, this is AI gone bad, so that you can see that head. No, the head should be attached to the body. Oh my goodness. Here you can also bring everything up on the same line like that. So you can move things around as you see fit. Let's bring him in here. Just put him centered in there. That's okay. So if I was going full on color, nothing else, I want it to be compelling color. I want it to be vivid. There are other things you could do, depending on how artsy you want to get. But you can go into props. And for example, I like shelves here. I could get a shelf, could stick this bookshelf here behind him. Just right click and do backwards and backwards. And I can make it smaller so it looks real. Something like that. And honestly, these aren't bad. Some of these black and white ones aren't bad. So I don't have to replace every single thing. But if you want consistency, then you have to generate enough colorful images, for this to work. And you can always put props. So apart from that shelf, there's another shelf here that you could use. Put that backwards. And go into your custom and add another one. And Something else you could do, one of the props I like using here is plants. So I like colorful plants. So this is a good one. You can see those colorful plants are not available for everyone. They're just available for the pros. That's a nice one there too. So you can pick and choose. You also have things like desks. So you can put a desk behind to make it look like she's in a room. Put that backwards, and the plant could be beside, or if you want to get really detailed with it, you could make the plant small enough to be on the desk, something like that. So you could tunnel vision and honestly, you could really get lost in this stuff for hours on end, just having an absolute blast. Because I'm a creative individual, not only musically, but when it gets to the art, I could tunnel vision out for hours doing nothing but this. Okay. Oh, that's another one gone bad. That is not a normal picture. So you gotta look out for some of those abnormalities and just make sure they don't make their way into your final thing, because you end up scaring people. Okay, some of these, they just hang, instead of being well centered, so you gotta decide to spend some time doing those too. Here's the final. All right, let's get rid of that. And yeah, I like this one right here. And all AI generated. Can you imagine the work that would have gone into this in the real world? You'd have had to get a graphic artist to draw them. And I hired tons of graphic artists pre-GPT, Sora, Midjourney, and so on. But now I use my art skills in other ways, to give the command and the prompt the same way I would have given it to any of the artists I hired. And I curate the imagery, as you can see, just like what I did. I don't like it when it leaves one tiny little word hanging like that. It does get to me. So things like this, or if there's more than one word on at the end, that makes sense, but this just doesn't. So you gotta tidy them up like that. Like that. This isn't bad. I would put width down below. Okay. What else? Okay. To find song patterns. Okay. I would get rid of that one and put this one instead, only because it's color. Okay, what else? Good. I think we're pretty much done. If we've got all color here. This is very nice, this one is. Now the only thing sticking out like a sore thumb, oh, this one. Have we done that? Okay, we've done that. This one, we actually don't need this black and white one because it just is kind of out of place. You could, for example, you could put one more image here and you can say audience standing, watching, and clapping. And one of these, you just want a transparent background so that you can just stick an audience by the side. Now, this is an example of some of the imagery gone wrong. That guy has no head, as you can see. It looks a little bit strange, but some of these might work. Let's see if this one will. And that one. Okay. So let's try these. One of them's got to work. Let's see, does this work? Okay, not bad. This isn't bad. So you can take this and you can just rotate it horizontally, put him closer to the edge. Although she's cut off a little bit. I wish he wasn't. Let's see if there's a better one here. Alright, we'll just hide it in the side so that it doesn't get cut off. And yeah, there you have it. And as usual, all you need to do to finish this is go ahead and if you want one more slide, you can add a final slide like this by adding a blank slide and putting any information you want on, audio and so on. But we're just going to go ahead and export it, render. This shouldn't take too long, should take about the same. But all of this to say that artificial intelligence has come really, really far. I know lots of you content creators, you would love to create something like this. Go over to InstaDoodle, let them know your buddy Phil sent you. I would say sign up in the beginning. You could try the simpler version, which goes for quite low. I don't want to speak what I can't back up, but you got to do the search yourself on Google. If you do a search on google.com for InstaDoodle, it'll likely come up with some pages where you might get a very good deal. And then when you get the basic, you got to get the add-on. So the first add-on will be the Pro. I think that costs almost $100, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe close to 70. I think that was close to 70. Then you get the AI add-on, which I think costs about the 97 or something. But you have to activate the AI, otherwise it won't work. And when you do that, you'll be all set. You know, it's really all about what you find relevant for your business or your channel or what you enjoy doing. I really enjoy doing this stuff. I've seen lots of videos way before the AI race, and I always wanted to do those. So there's a few companies that came up with alternatives, and I used those, and they were not as good as this. This is really, really good. The fact that you can use AI for the voices and the imagery, and you can choose whether you want a female hand, an African American hand, a Caucasian hand, a male or female hand, whether it's when a sleeve or not, all that stuff. It's pretty well thought out. And then you can also choose how fast you want each slides to play. I could go on and on, but we don't have enough time. Let's take a look at this final one here. And here we go.
Have you ever wished you could just sit at a piano and play your favorite songs by ear without any sheet music in front of you? Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into some practical tips on how to learn.
It even got the cog.
By ear.
Got the cog. That's crazy.
First things first, let's talk about listening, because listening is the most crucial step. Pick a song you really love and listen to it carefully. Focus on identifying the melody, the main tune you sing along to, and hum it out loud. Next, find the root notes, the very foundation of the song. These are usually the lowest notes and help you identify the chords being used. Once you've got your melody and root notes, it's time to sit at your piano and start experimenting. Play around with different notes until you match the sound of the melody. This process involves a lot of trial and error, so don't be discouraged if it doesn't come together immediately. Now, understanding basic music theory can be a real game changer. Learn about scales and chords. Knowing how chords are constructed will help you find patterns in songs much more easily. Speaking of patterns, most songs follow a simple chord progression. Try to identify these patterns by playing triads with your left hand while simultaneously matching the melody with your right hand. Start with simple songs that use 3 or 4 chords, then gradually work your way up to more complex tunes. Ear training exercises can enhance your ability to learn by ear as well. Practice identifying intervals, the spaces between notes. There are many apps and online resources that can aid you with this. Make it a daily habit, and you'll see improvement in no time. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Learning to play by ear takes time and consistent practice. Celebrate small victories along the way, like being able to figure out a chord or a section of a song. Before you know it, you'll be more confident and capable of playing more complex tunes by ear. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more music tutorials. Until next time, happy playing.
All right, my friends. Well, that's about it. That's what I have for today on InstaDoodle. I've had so much fun, and I hope you have fun doing this as well. Thank you for joining me. If you got any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Bye for now. You take care.